What's up, you guys? Hope you all have had a wonderful trading week. For me, this week was really interesting in terms of what happened in the market. We saw a lot of big movements, and these movements, they provided us, or provided me especially, with a lot of trading opportunities. So I was able to capitalize in most of these opportunities. So overall, I had a really positive week, which is always a good thing in terms of psychology as a trader. But without talking so much about it, let's just dive in straight into the markets and see what actually happened in terms of technical analysis and how we can actually prepare ourselves for this coming week. And as usual, the pairs that I will be analyzing today will be AUD USD, AUD JPY, and Euro USD. So let's get to it. Alright, starting with the AUD USD, you can see since last week what I was looking at this pair, especially because it was over here, I only was able to count 1, 2, 3. So my expectation was to see a wave 4 and then a final wave 5, which is exactly what the market was doing last week. And then after that, what I was expecting to see was this retracement over here, of which it could have been 50% or it could have been 61.8. And then after that, what I was essentially waiting for is essentially after this retracement is finished, then to begin a bigger move to the downside. Because if I zoom out, you can see that what I was counting this is as wave A, wave B, and then wave C. So this move for me was essentially, or what I see is being wave 1, and now we're waiting to see wave 3, 4, and probably 5 to finish the move to the downside. So last week, as you can see, there were a couple of trades that I actually took on this pair, and the first trade, I think we will see better if we're in 15 minutes. Yes, this was my first trade. I counted this as wave A, wave B, and I saw this as an opportunity to trade wave C to the upside, of which I took the trade for a 2 to 3. And then after that, I saw the market that already finished the 5 waves to the downside, because this was the 5th wave that I was expected to see before seeing that 50 to 60% retracement to the upside. Now, when I saw these 5 waves to the downside, essentially I knew what was coming up was a move to the upside. How that move will end up looking, now that was a part that I was not sure, but something that I was certain was I was going to see a move to the upside to the 50 or to the 61.8. So when I was down here and then I saw this impulsive move, for me this was a change in momentum of the market, because up to now the market was falling. So after seeing this impulsive move, for me it was kind of like the market is changing direction, and that acted to me as a signal to enter to the upside. So I did open up my buy stop, and this was the trade I took. And then the market actually did indeed go somewhat, I think, way past 61.8, but in between 61 to 78. And then after that, I thought that I would trade this move to the downside, and I was actually expecting to trade it. But this move to the downside, it came really fast. Like, this move was really fast, and I was not able to trade it. But now again, understanding the Elliott wave, what essentially I'm seeing here is these 5 waves to the downside as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So which means this here, it can be 1, and this here, it can be 2. So that means this wave, this whole wave, it can be wave 1 of wave 3. If that is the case, then what you're waiting to see here is that retracement of wave 2, and then you can come down over here and trade this level, opening your buy position. So your buy positions can be, sorry, not your buy position, your short position can be around this area and just take it all the way down. If not, if you want a better maybe entry or better maybe risk to reward, you can choose to short it the moment you see an impulse retracement around this area or around this area. Any first impulse and retracement, you can take it and then just choose to short it all the way down. But in terms of what I'm expecting to see for this coming week, what I'm expecting to see on this coming week is for this pair to continue with the movement downside. Now we all know that market never just move in a one line like this. There's always a retracement, there's going down again and then pulling back. So understandably, what I'll be waiting is to see, because this movement is, for me, this movement is finished. If you enter sell here, of which you can, technically your sell stop has to be above here, and that for me, the risk is just simply too big. I do not want to take that trade. So what I will be waiting to see here essentially is for this move to finish. If this move is finished, then it's good, but I'll wait to see if this move is finished, and then I'll be expecting to see this retracement, the 61 or 50% retracement. Once I have seen that retracement, then essentially I will be looking forward to short this pair with an expectation for the market to continue to move downwards. Now, where down exactly? Like, my view, to be honest, on this pair with the way that I'm seeing the technicals, I am expecting it to go all the way down here to break even this low, of which it was the low of wave A. So yes, there is for me a bigger move to the downside, but then again, I will be looking to take this opportunity once I have seen a retracement of this move, and that retracement has to be 50 or 61.8 or even 78% in fib levels. But as of now, even though yes, the market seems to be having a lot of momentum to the downside, I am not, and I will not enter this market, and generally I will not advise anyone to enter this market. Yes, after this move there was this retracement, but then again, for me who is trading Elliott wave, this retracement looks more of wave 4, so that symbolizes that this move to the downside is wave 5, which also tells me that we are coming to the end of this movement. We're not at the end of this movement, but we're coming to the end of this movement. So which means if we're coming down to the end of this impulsive move, we will be coming up with a harsher, bigger corrective move, and after that move, then we can see a sharper move to the downside, because we all know, like, out of the 5 waves, wave 3 is generally the one with more momentum. So I will be looking forward to trade that wave next week. All right, coming back to the AUD/JPY, for me this pair, I'm still very much on the down movement, and I look forward to see the prices continue to fall lower than they are right now, because even on last week, as I was doing analysis for the same pair, after seeing this corrective move to the downside and this move to the upside, I was still not convinced that this was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, simply because you can see that this price action was still contained within the parallel lines. But if this impulsive move would have broken outside of these 2 parallel lines, then yes, this I would have counted to be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to complete this 5-wave move. But simply because this entire price action was contained with these 2 parallel lines, and for me that did symbolize this move as a corrective move more than it was an impulsive. So since last week, I've been waiting for this price to continue to fall lower to complete this wave C, and as we can see that I think this was even before last week, I think it was a week before that, we saw this move to the upside, to the downside, of which for me that was a wave 1, wave 2. So most of the time this week I was planning to see, I wish to see this move. this is what I was wishing to see, but I didn't see that because the market spent a lot of time around this area, and it was not falling down as I expected until on Friday, because this is a daily chart, and you can see on Friday this is where you saw this bigger move to the downside. But overall, my bias on this pair is still a move to the downside, and essentially what I'm seeing here is if I'm going to count this pair, I'm going to count this as 1, 2. Now I'm going to be waiting to see wave 3, 4, and wave 5. So essentially for me, this movement here is just wave 1, 2 of wave 3, wave 3 of wave 3, wave 4 of wave 3, and wave 5 of wave 3. So this for me is a wave 3 extension. So for the next week, what I'll essentially be waiting to see on this pair is to complete 5 wave moves of wave 3, and then most probably a retracement of the bigger wave 4 before we see a drop to finish the wave 5, which will essentially be the completion of this C wave move to the downside. So in terms of the bias, what I'm still looking forward on this pair is one leg to the downside, and that leg, it can be impulsive, it can't be corrective, but overall what I'm expecting to see is this downward movement, and after that downward movement, then I will be expecting to see this one leg to the upside to finish this wave 5. So yeah, that is for me on that is my view on AUD JPY on this coming week. Right, for Euro USD on a daily time frame, there's really nothing much here to say other than the fact that we are on wave 4. We have a couple of days ago we finished the 4th wave, and now we're on the 5th wave. I believe on the last week and even before last week, I think, yeah, last week and this week we've been doing what it seems like a 5 wave move to the downside. And for me, essentially what this means, or what this is probably be, is wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of wave 1, and then you will see wave 2 of wave 5, and then after that what will be following, or what I'll be expecting to see, is wave 3 of 5, 4 of 5, and wave 5 of 5. So what I'm still waiting on this pair is a more move to the downside, to finish this wave 5 before we go up again to retrace and do the wave 4, and then ultimately finish another wave 5. But for next week, most probably, I think the move that we might see is this move to the downside, a 5 wave to the downside. If the market moves faster enough, we might see a beginning of the retracement of wave 4, but that is very unlikely. So I will be expecting more to downside in this pair, more to the downside, even beyond this level, even beyond this low, even beyond this low. So I will be looking to sell Euro USD to the downside, and yeah. So that is our analysis for this week, and I would just like to encourage you guys to go out there and check our social medias, our Twitter and our Instagram, because we usually do post chart analysis there, and even some psychological and inspirational quotes to just motivate you guys. So until next week, I hope you all will have a great trading week, and yeah, cheers.